The young Apache woman was pushed out of the tent as if she were worthless, rejected by her own people, while everyone looked away, when the chief pointed at her and coldly said, "Either you marry my rejected daughter, or you leave." The cowboy stepped forward, slowly lifted the blanket. His hands began to tremble, and the entire camp fell into deadly silence as they realized what was before them. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and comment where in the world you're watching from, because now I'm going to tell you everything. The sun was a heavy white weight in the sky. The saddle, for the medicine. That was the deal. John Callahan's voice was dry as the dust under his boots. He stood in the center of the Apache camp, the heat of the Arizona desert pressing down on everything. The air smelled of dry sage and smoke. Before him, Chief Windrunner turned the silver saddle over in his hands. The metal gleamed even in the harsh light. It was the last beautiful thing John owned. "The work is good," Windrunner said, his voice low and even. "A strong man made this." "My father," John said. He did not say more. He thought of his mother, Eleanor, lying in her bed back in Mercy, Texas. Her cough was a dry, scraping sound that filled their small house. The doctor said special herbs could help her, herbs only the Apache knew. But the doctor also said the medicine cost a lot of money, money John did not have. All he had was the saddle. Windrunner placed the saddle on the ground. He looked at John, his eyes dark and steady. "The medicine is ready, but the trade has changed." John's hand, which had been rolling the brim of his hat, stopped. "A deal is a deal. This is a new deal," the chief said. He did not blink. He pointed a long finger across the quiet camp. "Do you see that person?" John looked. Away from the small fires and the brush homes, a figure sat alone on the ground. It was completely covered by a faded red blanket. No part of them could be seen. "I see someone," John said. "That is my daughter. Her name is Laughing Bird. My people believe she is cursed. An evil spirit is with her. They fear her. She is nothing to them now." Windrunner's face was like stone. "I give you a choice, cowboy. You show true heart. You marry this girl. You take her as your wife, right now, with our blessing. Then you take the medicine and you take her with you. Or you take your herbs and you leave my camp forever. You never come back." John felt the words like a physical blow. The hot air seemed to vanish from his lungs. He looked from the chief's hard face to the lonely, covered shape. He heard the silence of the camp. Everyone was watching. "I came for medicine," John said, his words tight. "Not for a wife." "That was the old deal," Windrunner said. "This is the new one. Choose." John's mind raced. His mother's face, pale against her pillow, filled his thoughts. She needed him. She needed this medicine. Taking a stranger, a wife, back to Texas, it was crazy. It would slow him down. It would make everything harder. He looked at the figure under the red blanket. He saw how still she sat. He saw how no one in the camp went near her. She was alone in the middle of her own family. Asterisk treated like she is nothing, asterisk, he thought. He remembered the look in his father's eyes when things were hard. A look that said you do the right thing, even when it costs you, especially when it costs you. John pushed his hat back on his head. He let out a long, slow breath he did not know he was holding. "Okay," he said, the word quiet but clear. "Okay?" Windrunner asked. "I will marry her." A soft murmur went through the people watching. John did not look at them. He walked toward the figure under the blanket. The dry earth crunched under his boots. It was the only sound. He stopped in front of her. He knelt down in the dirt. He could see the shape of her head bowed beneath the heavy cloth. He reached out a hand. His fingers, rough from work, touched the rough edge of the red blanket. "My name is John," he said, his voice low. There was no answer from under the blanket. Gently, he lifted the cloth. He pulled it back from her head. The first thing he saw was her long black hair tied in a braid. Then as she slowly lifted her face, he saw the marks. A spiral drawn in a deep blue color was on her forehead. Delicate lines like the rays of a sun spread from it across her cheeks. John froze. His hand on the blanket began to shake. A loud gasp swept through the Apache camp like a wind. People stood up. They whispered. They pointed. John stared into the young woman's eyes. They were wide and dark and full of a fear he understood. But the mark on her face, it was not a curse. He did not know what it was. But the way the people were reacting told him everything. It was not a curse at all. The gasp from the tribe was a single, sharp sound. Then, silence fell again, heavier than before. John stayed on his knees, his hand still holding the red blanket. He stared at the blue lines on the young woman's face. He looked into her eyes. He saw no evil there. He saw fear and surprise and a deep, deep sadness. "It is not a curse," a voice said. Chief Windrunner walked forward. His stern face was different now. The hardness was gone. In its place was a great tiredness and a relief so big it seemed to hurt him. "The story of the curse was a lie," Windrunner said, his voice loud for all to hear. "A story I told to protect her." From the crowd, a man pushed forward. He was older than Windrunner, with a mean look in his eyes. This was Grey Wolf. "Brother," he snarled, "what have you done?" Windrunner did not look at him. He kept his eyes on John and his daughter. "The mark on her face is a holy sign. It is very old. It is called the sign of the Peacebringer. Our stories say it appears only once in 10 generations of people." John slowly stood up. He helped Laughing Bird to her feet. She was slender and held herself with a quiet grace, but she kept her eyes down. "You painted this on her?" John asked, confused. "No," Windrunner said. "It appeared on its own. One morning when she was 12 years old, the blue lines were just there. My brother saw it first. He finally turned his gaze to Grey Wolf. He saw it as a threat. He wanted her gone. He said the people would fear it. He was right. They did fear it." Grey Wolf's face was dark with anger. "It is a bad sign. It will bring change. It will make us weak." "He spread the lie of the curse," Windrunner continued, talking to John as if Grey Wolf had not spoken. "To save her life, I agreed. I said yes, it was a curse. I said she must be shunned, covered, kept apart. It was the only way to stop him from hurting her." The chief's voice broke a little. "For 7 years my daughter has lived as nothing so she would not be killed. I waited. I waited for a person from the outside world to come, a person with a kind heart, a person who would see a lonely girl, not a cursed one. You were that test, John Callahan, and you passed." John's mind was spinning. He looked at Laughing Bird. "You knew about this?" For the first time she spoke. Her voice was soft but clear. "Only my father and one elder woman knew the truth. I lived the lie. I believed my own people hated me." She looked at Grey Wolf and her voice grew stronger. "I believed my uncle feared me." "I do not fear you," Grey Wolf shouted. "I see you. That mark is a promise of peace. Peace means no fight. No fight means we lose our land. We lose everything." He turned to the watching people. "Harlan Finch from Tucson offers us money for the canyon. He will give us tools. With that money we can be strong. This mark, this Peacebringer, will tell us to talk, to surrender. I will not let a girl's face destroy our future." Windrunners stepped between Grey Wolf and the young people. "Your future is tied to a man who digs holes in sacred ground. You are a fool, brother. You traded your spirit for his promises." The tension in the air was like a tight wire. John felt it. He had walked into a family fight, a tribe fight, and he was stuck right in the middle. He thought of the medicine he still did not have. He thought of his mother, 1,000 miles away, waiting. "The deal," John said to Windrunner. "You said I passed the test. The medicine for my mother, and her." He nodded toward Laughing Bird. Windrunner's eyes were sad. "The test is over, but the danger is just beginning. Grey Wolf will not let her live now. He knows the people will see the truth now that she is uncovered." The chief moved quickly. He walked to a small leather bag hanging from a post and brought it to John. "Here are the herbs. Prepare them in hot water for your mother to drink." John took the bag. It was light. This small thing was why he had come. "Now," Windrunner said, his voice urgent and low. "You must go. You must take her far from here." "Where?" John asked. "To the Chiricahua Mountains. There is a holy man there, an old one named Falling Leaf. He knows the ancient ways. He can teach my daughter what her mark means. He can teach her how to be what she is meant to be." Windrunner put a hand on John's arm. "You are her husband now. Your job is to get her there. It is the only way." "No!" Grey Wolf roared. He pulled a long knife from his belt. The metal flashed in the sun. "She does not leave. The mark dies here." With a sharp shout from Windrunner, 2 younger men jumped and held Grey Wolf's arms. He fought them, yelling. "Go!" Windrunner commanded. "Now!" His friends will follow you. John did not think anymore. He grabbed Laughing Bird's hand. Her fingers were cold in his. He pulled her toward the edge of the camp where his tired horse was tied. "Can you ride?" he asked her. "Yes," she said. They reached the horse. John untied the rope. He put the bag of medicine inside his shirt. He got on the horse first and held out a hand for her. She took it and swung up behind him with a quick, easy movement. He looked back once. He saw Windrunner standing tall, facing his angry brother. He saw the tribe divided and watching. He saw Grey Wolf break free from the men holding him, his face twisted with rage. John turned the horse and kicked his heels. The animal leaped forward, out of the camp and into the vast open desert. He could hear the angry cries fading behind them. He could also hear the sound of other horses being untied. The chase was on. The only sounds were the pounding of the horses' hooves and the rush of the wind. John leaned forward, urging the tired animal to go faster. Laughing Bird held onto his waist, her grip tight. "They are coming," she said, her voice close to his ear. John glanced back. 3 riders had left the camp behind them. They were already closing the distance. In the lead, he could see the angry face of Grey Wolf. "Your horse is tired from your long ride," Laughing Bird said. "Theirs are fresh." "I know," John said through gritted teeth. He scanned the desert ahead. It was a vast, open space of rock and scrub. No place to hide. "Is there a place? A canyon? Anything?" She was silent for a moment, looking over his shoulder. "There is a dry riverbed ahead, to the right. The ground is rough. It may slow them." John saw it, a gash in the earth lined with small stones. He pulled the horse's reins to the right. The animal stumbled down the steep bank into the wide, sandy bottom. The move bought them a little time. The chasing horses slowed to navigate the drop. But not enough. Grey Wolf's voice carried across the distance. "You cannot run forever, Cowboy. She is not worth your life." John felt the medicine bag pressed between his chest and his shirt. Every thought was of his mother. He had what he came for. He could leave this girl, this problem behind. The idea was a cold knot in his stomach. "He is right," Laughing Bird said, as if hearing his thoughts. "You have your medicine. Go. Ride straight. I will lead them away." "No," John said, the word coming out harsh and fast. "Why? Your promise was part of my father's test. The test is over." "I said I would marry you," John said. "That wasn't part of the test for me. That was my word." He guided the horse around a large boulder. "I don't break my word." They rode in silence for another minute. The sound of the other horses was getting louder. The riverbed was ending, opening back onto flat desert. "Then we must fight," Laughing Bird said. There was no fear in her voice, only a simple fact. "There are 3 of them, maybe more coming. We cannot outrun them," she said. John knew she was right. His horse was breathing hard, its sides heaving. He saw a cluster of large rocks ahead, piled by some old storm. It was the only cover for miles. "There," he said. He rode straight for the rocks and slid off the horse, pulling his rifle from its holder. Laughing Bird jumped down beside him. They crouched behind the largest stone. The 3 riders burst out of the riverbed. Grey Wolf saw them and pulled his horse to a stop. The other 2 men fanned out beside him. They all had rifles. "This is foolish," Grey Wolf yelled. "Give us the girl. Take your medicine and go home to your mother." John's finger tightened on the trigger of his rifle. "She's my wife. I'm not giving her to you." Grey Wolf laughed, a nasty sound. "Wife? You are a child playing a game. That mark on her face is a problem. It gives my brother's words power. It makes the people listen to his old stories about peace. I have new stories. Stories about money. About strength." "With the man from Tucson," John said. "Harlan Finch." Grey Wolf's smile disappeared. "You know the name. Good. Then you know he is a powerful man. He has promised me many things for the right to dig in the canyon. That mark," he pointed his rifle toward Laughing Bird, "tells the people the land is sacred. It tells them not to sell. It will cost me everything." "So you will kill your own niece?" John asked. "I am saving my people from a weak future," Grey Wolf shouted. He raised his rifle. "Last chance, Cowboy." A shot rang out, but it did not come from Grey Wolf. It came from behind the rocks. The bullet kicked up dirt at the feet of Grey Wolf's horse. The animal reared in fright. John looked at Laughing Bird in shock. She was holding John's pistol. She had taken it from his belt without him noticing. Her hands were steady, but her eyes were wide. The surprise gave John a moment. He stood and fired his rifle into the air. The loud crack made the other men's horses dance sideways. "You want to fight?" John yelled, his voice raw. "Then we fight, but the first one of you to shoot dies next. You hear me?" Grey Wolf struggled to control his spooked horse. He glared at John with pure hate. He looked at his two men, who seemed less sure now. "This is not over," Grey Wolf spat. "Finch has more men. They are watching all the trails. You will never reach the mountains. The desert itself will kill you for me." He yanked his horse's head around. "We go! Let the sun do our work." The three riders turned and galloped back the way they came, leaving a cloud of dust. John lowered his rifle. His heart was pounding against the medicine bag. He looked at Laughing Bird. She slowly handed him back his pistol. "Thank you," he said. She nodded, looking at the horizon where the riders had vanished. "He is not lying. Harlan Finch's men will be watching, and my uncle will not give up." John walked to his exhausted horse and rubbed its neck. He took the small water skin and drank a little, then handed it to Laughing Bird. She drank only a sip. "The Chiricahua Mountains," John said. "Which way?" Laughing Bird pointed to the southeast. "Many days, across very hard land." John put the water skin away. He looked back toward the north, toward Texas. He touched the bag of medicine through his shirt. Every part of him screamed to turn that way. He looked at the woman beside him. He looked at the blue marks on her face, a sign she did not understand in a world that wanted to destroy it. He swung back up onto the horse and held out his hand. "Then we better get started." The heat of the day was a solid thing. It pressed down from the white sky and rose up in shimmering waves from the sand. They had ridden for hours in silence, saving the horses' strength and their own words. John's mouth felt full of dust. He checked the position of the sun. "We need to find water for the horse." Laughing Bird, sitting behind him, pointed a slender arm toward a cluster of tall, spiny plants in the distance. "There, barrel cactus. It holds water inside." They rode to the plants. John got down and took out his knife. He looked at the cactus, unsure. "Not that one," Laughing Bird said, sliding off the horse. She touched a different plant, its shape round and full. "This one. The old ones tell us which ones are good." She took the knife from his hand. With careful moves, she cut off the top of the cactus. Inside, the flesh was pale and wet. She squeezed it over the horse's mouth. Drops of clear liquid fell. The animal licked eagerly. She cut more and handed a piece to John. "Suck on it, slowly." The moisture was bitter but clean. It was the best thing John had ever tasted. "How did you learn this?" he asked. "When you are alone for many years, you learn to listen to the land," she said, not looking at him. She fed another piece to the horse. "It was my only friend." John thought about her words. He thought about his own mother, alone in her sickbed. "My mother, she's waiting for me. Her name is Eleanor." Laughing Bird nodded. "You love her very much. It is why you came." "It's why I came," he agreed. He rolled the brim of his hat in his hands. "But now I'm here, going the wrong way." "You are going the only way left," she said softly. They mounted the horse again and moved on. The landscape changed slowly, from flat sand to rocky hills. The silence between them was not empty anymore. It was filled with the things they had just said. As the sun began to lower, painting the sky in colors of orange and red, Laughing Bird spoke again. "Stop here." John reined in the horse. They were near a wall of red rock. "What is it?" "Look," she said. She walked to the rock face and placed her hand on it. Carved into the stone were pictures, a spiral like the one on her forehead, figures of people and animals. The carvings were very old, their edges softened by wind and time. "My people have traveled this way for many, many lives," she said. Her fingers traced the carved spiral. As she touched it, John saw her stiffen. A small sound escaped her lips. "What's wrong?" he asked, stepping closer. She turned to him. Her eyes were wide. "It is warm." "The rock?" "No," she said, her voice full of wonder. She touched her own forehead where the blue mark was. "My face. The mark is warm, like the sun is on it, but from the inside." John looked from the ancient spiral on the rock to the one on her skin. They were the same. What does that mean? It means we are on the right path, she said. A small, real smile touched her lips for the first time. The old ones are showing us. They are not angry, they are guiding. For a moment, John felt a strange sense of peace. He did not understand the spirits or the signs, but he understood that she believed, and her belief gave her strength. The moment broke when the horse snorted and stamped its foot. John turned, his hand going to his rifle. He scanned the desert behind them. Far back, on the long, flat stretch they had crossed hours ago, he saw a thin brown line against the fading light. Dust. Riders, he said, a lot of them. Laughing Bird's smile vanished. She looked at the dust cloud. It was too far to see who, but not too far to guess. Grey Wolf, and the men from Tucson. They are not giving up. We can't outrun them in the open, John said. We need to find cover for the night, somewhere they can't see us. Laughing Bird looked at the rock wall with the carvings. She walked along its base, her eyes searching. After 20 paces, she found what she was looking for. A crack in the rock, hidden by a scrubby bush. It was just wide enough for the horse to squeeze through. In here, she said. John led the nervous horse into the crack. It opened into a small hidden canyon, just a narrow space with high walls. It was dark and cool, a place to breathe. They pulled the horse in and stood in the quiet gloom. They could no longer see the dust cloud. They could no longer see the desert. But they both knew what was out there. John took the bag of herbs from his shirt and checked it. It was still dry, still safe. He held it tight in his hand. We rest here for the night, he said. We take turns watching. Laughing Bird nodded. She sat down on the sandy floor, her back against the cool rock. She looked very young in the dim light. They will find us tomorrow, she said quietly. This canyon has only one way in. We are in a box. John put the medicine bag away. He sat down across from her, his rifle across his knees. Then we'll be ready when they do. The hidden canyon was dark and quiet. The only sounds were the slow chewing of the horse and the soft whisper of wind over the rocks high above. John sat near the narrow entrance, his rifle beside him. He could see a slice of the night sky filled with stars. He counted them to stay awake. Behind him, Laughing Bird was a still shadow. Your turn to sleep, her voice came softly. I'm fine, John said. You are not fine. You are thinking too loud. John let out a short breath, almost a laugh. Can't help it. He heard her move. She came and sat near him, not too close. She handed him the water skin. Drink. A little. He took it. The water was warm, and there was very little left. He took a small sip and handed it back. She did not drink at all. Tomorrow, John said, staring out at the stars. We can try to leave before the sun is up. Get a head start. The horse is tired. It needs more water than we have. We need more water than we have, Laughing Bird said. Her voice was practical, not fearful. John's hand went to the medicine bag inside his shirt. The dried herbs crinkled under his touch. I could go, he said, the words coming out rough. Right now, in the dark. I could take the horse and ride north. I could get to a town, send the medicine to Texas on a fast stagecoach. He finally looked at her. You could hide here. They're after me too now. If I'm gone, maybe they just pass by. She was silent for a long time. She looked at her hands in her lap. That is a good plan, she said finally. It is. Yes, it is the right plan for you. Your mother needs the medicine. You have done more than your promise already. You got me away from the camp. You can go. Her words should have made him feel better. They did not. They made him feel like a coward. What about you? This is my problem, my family, my mark, not yours. I will wait here. If they find me, I will talk to my uncle. Maybe I can make him understand. He has a knife and a deal with a bad man, John said, his voice rising. He's not looking for a talk. Then that is my path, she said, her voice still quiet but firm. You should go. Save your mother. Anger surged in John, hot and sudden. It wasn't anger at her. It was anger at the whole situation. I gave your father my word. I stood in front of your people and I said I would marry you. That means something. It means you're my responsibility now. I don't just leave my responsibilities in a hole in the desert. His words echoed off the canyon walls. The horse stopped chewing. Laughing Bird looked at him, her eyes catching the starlight. Why? Why does a promise to a stranger matter more than your own mother? John looked away, his jaw tight. He picked up a small stone and threw it against the far wall. Because my father kept his promises, even when it was hard, even when it cost him, and I won't be less than he was. He took a deep, shaky breath. We'll find water tomorrow. We'll find that holy man, together. He lay down on his back, putting his hat over his face, ending the conversation. After a moment, he heard her move back to her spot. Sleep finally came, but it was not good sleep. Asterisk. He was in a field in Texas. The sky was green and angry. The sound was a roar, like a train. Cattle were running, a swirling, panicked river of horns and hooves. His father was on the ground. His leg was bent wrong. John was yelling, but no sound came out. He tried to run to him, but his feet were stuck in the mud. He could only watch as the storm of animals came closer, closer. His father looked at him, not afraid, but sorry. So sorry. The dust swallowed him. John woke with a gasp, sitting straight up. His heart hammered against his ribs. The dream was so real he could still taste the dirt in the air. A soft sound reached him. It was a low, gentle humming, a tune with no words. He turned his head. Laughing Bird was sitting with her knees drawn up, her arms around them. She was looking at the sky and humming this quiet song. "What is that?" he asked, his voice scratchy from the dream. The humming stopped. "A song from my mother, a night song, for when the dark feels too big." John lay back down, the echoes of the nightmare still clinging to him. "It's nice. My mother said it reminded her that the night is just the day, resting." She began to hum it again, even softer. John closed his eyes. He listened to the simple tune. He felt his heartbeat slow. The tight fear in his chest from the dream began to loosen. He was not alone in the dark. He didn't say thank you. He just listened. And for the first time since he rode into Red Rock Canyon, he felt not like a man carrying two impossible burdens, but like part of a team carrying one. The first light of morning was a gray line at the top of the canyon walls. John was already awake, saddling the horse. Laughing Bird was studying the rock face again. "The pictures tell a story," she said, her finger tracing the carved lines. "They show a path, a way through the rocks." John came to look. The carvings were hard to see in the dim light, but he could make out a series of dots and lines that seemed to lead away from the main wall. "You can read this?" "Not read. Feel," she said. She placed her palm flat on the stone. The blue mark on her forehead was visible in the dawn light. "The warmth is still there. It is a little stronger now. It pulls me this way." They led the horse out of the narrow canyon. The desert was quiet and cool. Laughing Bird walked ahead, her eyes on the ground and the distant rocks. She moved with a new purpose. After an hour of walking, she stopped at a pile of stones that looked no different from any other. "Here," she said. She began to move some of the smaller rocks aside. "What are you doing?" John asked. The old ones marked paths with stone piles, but sometimes they hid the true path. She lifted a flat, heavy rock. Underneath, the ground was not solid. There was a hole, and then a steep, hidden trail leading down between two large cliffs. John peered down. It was dark and narrow. "You're sure?" "The mark is sure," she said simply. They had to lead the horse carefully, step by step. The path twisted down for a long time. Then, the walls opened up. John blinked. It was like stepping into another world. Instead of sand and rock, there was green. A small stream of clear water cut through the center of a small, hidden canyon. Cottonwood trees with green leaves grew along its banks. The air was cooler and smelled of wet earth. The horse smelled the water and tugged forward, drinking deeply from the stream. "This is a safe place," Laughing Bird whispered. A feeling of peace was on her face. "A place for my people in hard times." "Are there people here now?" John asked, his hand resting on his rifle. Before she could answer, a voice came from the trees. "There is one person here." An old Apache woman stepped out from the shadows. She was small, with a face like wrinkled leather and eyes that were bright and sharp. She carried a walking stick, but she did not lean on it. Laughing Bird took a step forward. "White Dove?" she asked, her voice hopeful. The old woman's eyes widened. She looked from Laughing Bird to John and back again. "Who asks for White Dove?" "I am Laughing Bird, daughter of Windrunner. He said to find you." White Dove moved closer. Her eyes locked on Laughing Bird's face, on the blue mark. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, a tear traced a path through the dust on her cheek. She reached out a trembling hand but did not touch the mark. She touched Laughing Bird's hair instead. "It is true," White Dove breathed. "The sign has come back. Child, come, you are safe here." She led them to a simple shelter made of branches near the stream. She gave them flatbread and dried meat. She gave grain to the horse. As they ate, she listened to their story. John told her about the trade, the choice, and the chase. Laughing Bird told her about the warm feeling of the mark and the rock pictures. White Dove nodded. "Your father is a wise chief and a hurting father. He sent you the right way. The holy man you seek is named Falling Leaf. He lives high in the Chiricahua Mountains. He is the last one who knows the full meaning of the Peacebringer." "Can you tell us how to find him?" John asked. "I can. I will draw a map for you in the dirt. I will give you food and water for the journey." Her kind face grew serious. "But you must go quickly, and you must be very careful." "Because of Grey Wolf," Laughing Bird said. "Yes, and because of the white man he serves, Harlan Finch. He is a snake with many tails." White Dove looked directly at John. "His men are not just in the desert. They are at the waterholes. They are on the stage roads. They are looking for a cowboy with an Apache woman. Grey Wolf is leading them. They want to stop you before you reach Falling Leaf." John felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cool canyon air. "How many days to the mountains?" 4 days of hard riding, if you do not get lost, if you are not caught." White Dove placed a gentle hand on Laughing Bird's arm. "The mark is a gift, but to men like Finch and your uncle, it is a threat. They will try to destroy it. You must let the holy man teach you how to use it before they find you." As the sun climbed higher, White Dove packed a small bag for them, more food, a full water skin, and a pouch of strong herbs for healing. She drew the map in the sandy earth by the stream, showing them canyons and rock formations to follow. When it was time to go, the old woman hugged Laughing Bird tightly. "You are not cursed," she whispered. "You are needed. Remember that." They led the horse back to the hidden trail. As they climbed, John looked back once. White Dove stood by the stream, a small, still figure in the green oasis, watching them go. They were no longer just running away. They were running towards something. But the danger was now running on a map of its own, trying to cut them off. For 2 days they followed White Dove's map. The land grew rougher, climbing into hills of yellow stone. They saw no one. John began to hope they had slipped past their hunters. On the 3rd morning, they came to the river. It was not a gentle stream like in the hidden canyon. This was the Rio Salado, a wide, shallow band of brown water cutting across their path. "We have to cross it," John said, studying the map drawn in the dirt. White Dove said the trail is on the other side. Laughing Bird looked at the water, then at the far bank. "The current is strong in the middle, and the bank there is high. It is a good place for an ambush." John scanned the opposite side. He saw rocks and brush. Nothing moved. "We have no choice. We can't go around. It would take 2 extra days." He patted the horse's neck. "We'll go fast." He led the horse into the water. The animal stepped carefully on the rocky bottom. The cold water rose to John's knees, then to the horse's belly. Laughing Bird held onto the saddle behind him. They were halfway across, the water pulling at their legs, when a man stood up from behind a rock on the far bank. Then another man stood up next to him. They were not Apache. They wore dusty town clothes and wide hats. Each held a rifle. "Halt right there!" one of them shouted. He had a thick mustache. "That's far enough." John's heart jumped. He kept the horse moving forward slowly. "We're just crossing the river, friend. No trouble here." "The trouble is you're with that Indian girl," the other man said. He was younger, with a nervous face. "Mr. Finch wants to have a word with her, and with the cowboy who stole her." "I didn't steal anyone," John said. The water was now at the horse's chest. They were close to the bank, but the steep part was right in front of them. "Get down off that horse, both of you," Mustache said, raising his rifle. John knew they could not get up the bank with the men standing over them. It was a trap. He glanced at Laughing Bird. Her eyes were fixed on the 2 men, her body tense. In one quick move, John kicked the horse hard and yelled, "Go!" The surprised animal lunged forward through the water, spraying a wave at the men. The sudden movement made the younger man fire his rifle. The shot went wild. "Get them!" Mustache yelled. John leaped from the horse into the waist-deep water just as Mustache tried to grab the reins. He tackled the man around the middle. They both fell into the river with a splash. The water was cold and chaotic. John got a mouthful of gritty water. He and the man wrestled, slipping on the stones. The man was strong. He pushed John's head under. John fought to get his knees under him and shoved upward, breaking free. He saw a flash of movement. Laughing Bird was on the bank. The younger man had her by the arm. She twisted, brought her foot down hard on his boot, and as he yelped, she grabbed a thick, broken branch from the ground. She swung it. It hit the man's shoulder. He stumbled back, losing his grip on her. John's attacker came at him again, swinging a fist. John dodged and hit him in the stomach. The man doubled over. John pushed him, and the man fell backward into the deeper water, disappearing under the surface. Panting, John turned. The younger man was clutching his shoulder, looking from Laughing Bird with her branch to John wading toward him. He looked scared. "Jed!" the young man yelled to the water. "Jed, get up!" Mustache's head broke the surface, coughing. He flailed toward the shore downstream. "Go!" John shouted, his voice raw. "Get out of here!" The young man didn't need to be told twice. He turned and ran, scrambling up the high bank and into the brush. Mustache pulled himself onto a sandbar, gasping, and then stumbled after his partner. In a moment, both were gone. John stood in the river, breathing hard. The horse had made it to the bank and stood shaking. Laughing Bird dropped the branch. Her hands were trembling. "Are you hurt?" John asked, wading toward her. She shook her head. "No. You?" "I'm fine," he said. But as he said it, he remembered. The bag. He slapped a hand against his chest and under his soaked shirt. The leather pouch was gone. His eyes went wide with panic. He turned in the water, looking frantically at the brown current. "No, no, no, no." "What is it?" "The medicine." The bag came loose in the fight. He dropped to his knees in the water, feeling along the rocky bottom with his hands. The current had already carried it away. He searched for a long time, up and down the river's edge. Finally, he stopped. He stood still in the water, his head bowed. Laughing Bird came to him. She held something in her hand. It was the leather bag. She had found it caught on a root downstream, but it was open. The contents were a dark, wet paste, washing out into the river as she held it. She showed him. "The water ruined it. It is all mush." John took the bag from her. He felt the soggy, useless herbs inside. All that way, all that risk, for nothing. A wave of failure crashed over him so hard he could barely breathe. His mother's face filled his mind. He had let her down. He closed his eyes tight. When he opened them, Laughing Bird was watching him, her expression full of sorrow. "I'm sorry, John," she whispered. He looked at the ruined bag in his hand. He looked at the mark on her face, the sign that had cost him everything. There was no going back to Texas now, not without the medicine. The only path left was forward, deeper into the unknown. The mountains rose before them, huge and rocky. The air grew thin and cold. For 2 more days, they climbed. They ate the last of White Dove's food. They spoke very little. The loss of the medicine was a heavy stone between them. John's thoughts were only of his mother. Every step felt like a step away from her. But there was no path back now. The only thing left was to finish what they started. Laughing Bird led the way. She would stop sometimes, close her eyes and touch the mark on her forehead. "The warmth is stronger here," she would say. "We are close." On the afternoon of the 3rd day in the mountains, she stopped in front of a wall of gray rock covered in a thick curtain of ivy. "Here." John pushed aside the green vines. Behind them was the dark opening of a cave. A small trickle of water ran from the opening down the rocks. They left the horse tied to a stunted tree and entered the cave. It was not deep. Light from the entrance showed a space that was clean and dry. A small fire burned in the center, and beside it sat a very old man. He was so thin he seemed made of sticks and worn leather. His hair was white and long. He opened his eyes as they entered. They were dark and clear, like pools of water. He did not look surprised. He looked at Laughing Bird and a slow smile spread across his face. It was a smile of deep joy and deep sadness. "You found your way," the old man said. His voice was soft but strong. "I have been waiting for you, child." Laughing Bird knelt before the fire. Are you Falling Leaf? I am. The old man reached out a bony hand. He did not touch her face. He held his hand near her cheek, where the blue lines were. I felt the sign return to the world. I felt its warmth from far away. I knew you would come. John stood near the entrance, feeling like an intruder. She needs to know what it means, he said. The chief, her father, sent us. Men are trying to hurt her because of it. Falling Leaf nodded slowly. He kept his eyes on Laughing Bird, the sign of the peace-bringer. It is not a weapon. It is not a shield. It is a mirror. A mirror? Laughing Bird asked. It shows people their own heart, the holy man said. To a person with anger and hate, the sign will feel like a threat. It will show them their own darkness, and they will want to break the mirror. He gestured to her face. To a person with a good heart, even a little good, the sign will feel like a hope. It will make that good heart stronger. That is its power. It finds the good. It does not fight the bad. It reminds the good to be brave. Laughing Bird listened, her eyes wide. How do I use this? You do not use it, Falling Leaf said gently. You are it. You must stand before your people. You must stand before the white men with guns. You must show them your face and speak true words. The sign will do the rest. It will help those who can be helped to see a better way. John stepped forward. The firelight flickered on his worried face. The white man leading them is named Harlan Finch. He wants to dig up Red Rock Canyon. He has made a deal with her uncle. He will not listen to true words. At the name, Falling Leaf's head turned sharply. He looked at John for the first time, really looked at him. His old eyes searched John's face. Finch, the holy man said. The word was heavy. You know him? John asked. I know of him. He is a sickness on the land. He has been taking from my people for many, many years. Falling Leaf's gaze did not waver. And you know him too? John shook his head. No, I only know he's the one trying to kill us. Not you, Falling Leaf said softly. Your father. The air in the cave seemed to get still. The crackle of the fire was the only sound. What? John's voice was a whisper. Your name is John Callahan. You are from Mercy, Texas. Your father was Samuel Callahan. It was not a question. John felt cold. How do you know that? Because Samuel Callahan worked for Harlan Finch, Falling Leaf said. His voice was not angry. It was full of a great tiredness. Many years ago, Finch hired strong young cowboys to help him take land. Your father rode for him. He helped run Apache families from their homes. He did not know the whole truth. He thought he was doing a job. But the pain he helped cause, it was real. John stood perfectly still. The world tilted under his feet. He remembered his father's silence, his sad eyes, the way he would sit and stare at nothing for hours. No, John said. But even as he said it, he knew it was true. Your father left that work, Falling Leaf continued. He took his silver saddle, his pay, and he left. He went to Texas. He started a ranch. He tried to forget. But the past is a shadow that follows. John looked at Laughing Bird. She was watching him, her expression unreadable. Shame, hot and bitter, rose in his throat. His father had worked for the man who now wanted to destroy her home. The cycle had come all the way around, and John was trapped in the middle of it. The fire crackled in the silence of the cave. John stared at Falling Leaf, the old man's words hanging in the air like smoke. He felt Laughing Bird's eyes on him. My father, John said, the words sounding strange in his mouth. He worked for Finch. He did, Falling Leaf said. His voice was quiet. He was young. He needed money. Many men make choices they regret when they are young. John turned away from the fire. He walked to the cave entrance and looked out at the cold, gray mountains. He thought of his father's hands, always busy, always rough. He thought of the deep silence that lived in him. Now he knew where that silence came from. He never talked about Arizona, John said, more to himself than to anyone. He never talked about any of it. He just worked the ranch. He was quiet. A quiet heart is often a heavy heart, Falling Leaf said. John felt a hot pressure behind his eyes. It was not just sadness, it was shame, a deep, burning shame. He had been so proud of his father's honor. He had tried so hard to live up to it. And now he found out his father's past was built on hurting people like Laughing Bird, people he was now sworn to protect. He felt a gentle touch on his arm. He turned. Laughing-Bird stood beside him. "I am sorry," she said. Her dark eyes were full of understanding, not anger. "Sorry?" John's voice broke. "My father. He helped take land from your people. He worked for the man who wants to destroy your home. How can you be sorry for me?" "Because you did not know," she said simply. "You are not your father's choices. You are your own." "But I'm here because of his choices," John said, the pain sharp in his voice. "Finch is after the canyon. My father helped make Finch who he is, and now I have the medicine that's gone, and my mother is alone, and you're in danger. It's all connected. It's all because of my family." Falling Leaf spoke from near the fire. "The past is a circle, John Callahan. Your father's actions helped create this fight. Your actions now can help end it. That is the only way the circle breaks." John looked at Laughing-Bird. He looked at the blue mark on her face, the sign of peace that his father's old boss wanted to erase. "I don't know how to fix this," he whispered. "You do not fix it alone," Laughing-Bird said. She took his hand. Her fingers were cool. "We go back, together. We face my uncle. We face Harlan Finch. We use the truth. My mark, your story. They are connected now. We show them the circle can be broken." John held her hand tight. He thought of his mother. He had failed to bring her the medicine. The only thing left was to make sure the journey had a meaning, to make sure her son did not run from a hard thing, just like his father must have wished he hadn't all those years ago. He looked at Falling Leaf. "Will you come with us?" The old man shook his head slowly. "My place is here. My part was to wait for her and to tell you the truth. Your place is there. The two of you. The cowboy and the peacebringer. You carry the truth now. You must plant it in the place where the lie started." John took a deep, shuddering breath. He let go of Laughing-Bird's hand and walked back to the fire. He knelt before the holy man. "Thank you," he said, "for telling me." Falling Leaf placed a light hand on John's head for a moment. "Do not carry his shame. Carry your own strength. It is enough." John stood up. The confusion and the crashing weight of the truth were still there, but they had settled into something solid, a decision. He turned to Laughing-Bird. "You're right. We go back. We face them." A small, sure smile touched her lips. She nodded. They gathered their things. The old man gave them a pouch of ground corn for the journey and fresh directions for the fastest way back to Red Rock Canyon. As they walked to the cave entrance, he spoke one last time. "Finch will try to use the past against you, John. He will try to say you are the same. You must show him you are not. You must show everyone." John put on his hat. He looked at Laughing-Bird, standing ready beside him. For the first time, he did not see a burden or a stranger. He saw a partner. He saw his wife. "We will," John said. Together, they stepped out of the cave and into the cold mountain air, turning their faces toward the desert, toward the canyon, toward the fight that was waiting. The sun was high and hot when they saw the canyon, but the quiet of the desert was gone. Replacing it was the sound of men shouting and the scrape of metal on stone. John and Laughing-Bird reined in their horse on a high ridge. Below, in the flat land before the red rock walls of the canyon, a small army of men with horses, wagons, and digging tools stood gathered. In front of them, forming a silent line, were the Apache people. Chief Windrunner stood at their front, his arms crossed. Between the two groups was an empty space of dirt and tension. "Finch's men," John said, his voice low. He saw a man in a city suit standing by a wagon. Harlan Finch. Next to him, on a horse, was Grey Wolf. "And my people," Laughing-Bird whispered. "They are blocking the way. They are standing with my father." John looked at her. The blue mark on her face was clear in the harsh light. "Are you ready?" She took a deep breath. "The mark is warm. It is not afraid. I am ready." They rode down the slope, not hiding anymore. The sound of their horses' hooves made heads turn, first from the Apache line, then from the crowd of workmen. A murmur spread through both groups. John rode straight into the empty space between them. He stopped the horse. He and Laughing-Bird dismounted. Every eye was on them. Windrunner's stern face showed relief, then fresh worry. Grey Wolf glared, his hand on his knife. Harlan Finch, a thin man with a sharp gaze, stepped forward, a smile on his face that did not reach his eyes. Well, Finch said, The runaway cowboy and the cursed girl return. You saved me the trouble of hunting you. There is no curse, Laughing-Bird said. Her voice was clear and carried across the silence. She stepped forward, away from John, toward the center. She turned to face her own people. She did not bow her head. She let them all see the blue spiral and the lines on her cheeks. A gasp went through the Apache line. My people, she said. For many years you feared this mark. You called it a curse. It is not a curse. She turned to face Finch and his men. It is an old sign, a holy sign. It is called the sign of the Peacebringer. Grey Wolf kicked his horse forward a few steps. It is a sign of weakness. It will talk while they take our land. Look at them. He pointed at the men with shovels. They are ready to dig. They will give us money. We will be strong. Laughing-Bird looked at her uncle. What is strength, uncle? Is it digging holes in our mother, the earth? Is it taking money from a man who steals? She looked back at her tribe. Our strength is in our stories, in this land. This mark tells us to remember that. It asks us to be brave enough for peace. The tribespeople stared. Some looked at the ground. Some looked at her mark with new eyes. An old woman in the front began to cry silently. Harlan Finch laughed, a harsh, dry sound. Pretty words, little girl, but words don't stop progress. My men have legal rights to dig here. Your chief, he said, nodding at Windrunner, has been a wall, but walls fall. He waved his hand. Move these people aside. Start the work. His men shuffled forward, but they hesitated, looking at the unmoving line of Apache. Windrunner spoke. You will not touch this canyon. His voice boomed. My daughter has spoken the truth. We stand with her. One by one, the men and women of the tribe stepped forward. They closed ranks. They did not raise a weapon. They simply stood, solid as the rocks behind them. Finch's smile vanished. His face turned red with anger. Grey Wolf, control your people. But Grey Wolf looked at his brother's firm face. He looked at his niece, standing tall and unafraid. He looked at his people, who were no longer looking at him. They were looking at her. He saw his future crumbling. No, he muttered, defeated. No. Finch saw he had lost. His hand moved quickly, pulling a small pistol from inside his coat. He did not aim at the tribe. He aimed at Laughing-Bird. If I cannot have the canyon, then the symbol dies. John was already moving. He stepped between Finch and Laughing-Bird, his hands open at his sides. Don't do it, Finch. Get out of my way, cowboy. My name is John Callahan. Samuel Callahan was my father. Finch's eyes narrowed. The gun wavered. What? You heard me. Samuel Callahan. He worked for you. He ran people off their land for you. He carried your shame for years. John's voice was steady, loud enough for everyone to hear. He left you. He tried to be a better man. I am his son, and I am standing here to tell you that it stops. Right here. The cycle of hurt, of taking, it ends with us. You pull that trigger, and you prove my father was right to leave. You prove you're just a thief who needs a gun to get what he wants. Finch's arm trembled. He looked from John's calm face to the crowd of Apache, to his own men who looked uneasy. He was alone. The prophet was gone. The fight was gone. With a snarl, he lowered the gun. This isn't over. It is for you, John said. Leave. Take your men and your tools and go. Finch shoved the pistol back into his coat. He turned and barked orders at his confused workmen. Slowly, the wagons turned around. The men mounted their horses. They began to move away, back toward Tucson. Grey Wolf sat on his horse, alone now in the empty space. He looked broken. Windrunner walked over to him and said something low. Grey Wolf did not look at him. He simply turned his horse and rode slowly away, following Finch's crowd, but not with them. A cheer rose from the Apache people. It was not a loud cheer of victory, but a deep sound of release. They surged forward, not toward John, but toward Laughing-Bird. They surrounded her, touching her hands, her arms, crying and smiling. They were seeing her for the first time. John stood back, watching. Windrunner came to him. The chief put a hand on John's shoulder. You brought her home. You saved my people. I broke my promise to my mother, John said, the old pain fresh. The medicine is gone. Windrunner nodded. A rider is already ready, the fastest horse. He will take fresh herbs, the strongest we have, straight to Mercy, Texas. He will take a letter from you. He leaves within the hour. John felt a weight lift from his chest. It was not a guarantee, but it was hope. Thank you. Laughing Bird broke from her people and came to him. Her eyes were bright. "What now?" she asked. John looked at her. He looked at the canyon, red and mighty in the sun. He looked at the desert stretching out beyond it. I think we build a home, right there." He pointed to a flat spot where the desert met the canyon wall. "A place for a rancher who understands this land, and a peace bringer who can teach him." A true smile, wide and warm, spread across Laughing Bird's face. It made the blue mark on her forehead seem to glow. She took his hand. Together, they walked toward the spot, leaving the crowd behind, starting a new path on the old sacred earth.